Hey everybody, Josh here with a look at another Star Wars toy. And today we are looking at a figure from the Power of the Force collection. This is Boba Fett with sawed-off blaster rifle and jetpack. And real quick here, I just want to take the figure and spin him around here so we can get a look at him. And for those of you who are very familiar with the Boba Fett character, you will know there's a slight difference between his costume from Empire Strikes Back to Return of the Jedi, and this is the version that you see in Return of the Jedi. And one thing that Hasbro and was criticized for in this toy line, the Power of the Force, there was a lot of criticisms of this toy line, and one of them was their lack of attention to detail. And for those of you who are very big Boba Fett fans will know that this is not, if you look at the rifle he's holding, this is not a screen accurate rifle for what Boba Fett was carrying. And then one of the other criticisms of the Power of the Force collection is the actual body physique of the characters. They have these big bulging chests and big arms, bigger than normal, or how they appeared in the movie. So, but we're not going to criticize that today. We're just here to look at the figure. So anyway, looking at the weapon here, you can see it is removable, and you just pop it out of his hand, and you can see what it looks like here. And they are calling this on the package a sawed-off blaster rifle. And then the other thing I want to look at real quick is the jetpack. And like I said, one of the big differences between Return of the Jedi Boba Fett and Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett is the color of the jetpack. In Empire Strikes Back, it was solid green, and when you get to Return of the Jedi, they put a little color on it. And this is what it looked like in Return of the Jedi. And so you remove it by pushing it straight up. You just slide it straight up until it pops off, and the missile is not removable. The thrusters do not rotate or anything. They're just made out of flexible plastic, so you can't poke anyone's eye out with it, which is a good thing. But this is what it looks like, and there's a big slot in it, and the reason for that is because there's a big tab on Boba Fett's back that holds the jetpack in place, and it works very well. It's on there very well. And then the other thing you'll notice is there's a shoulder piece here that pops off, and what this is a little cape and Wookiee braids. Now, one of the things I've read about Boba Fett in some of the books I have is that what these braids are, if you look at him, at his costume closely, he's got these like hairy braids drooped over his shoulder. And they're supposed to be, from what I've read, Wookiee braids from previous bounties he's collected. They're like little trophies. And so these are the braids, and then this is just a little cape that he has drooped over his shoulder. And the piece just snaps onto his neck and over his shoulders. And one thing you have to be aware of when you put this on, you actually have to put this piece on before the jetpack, or it doesn't go on. Or you can just put the jetpack on without it, and it works fine as well. But if you're going to put the whole thing together, that's the order you have to do it in. And then, so real quick here, let's take a look at him with all the accessories off. And one thing I'll tell you, that the eyepiece, this is a little targeting eyepiece. It is flexible and movable, like it's got a little bit of flexibility to it, but it doesn't slide down. And some of the action versions of the action figure, it actually rotates down in front of his eye. It's a little targeting assistant, I guess you would call it. But here's what he looks like with all the accessories removed. And just be aware, if you decide to purchase this figure, you're going to have once you remove the jetpack, there's a big tab on his back. Okay, and then so the other thing is the helmet on this character is not removable. You can't take it off. And you have to remember, when this figure came out, it was before Attack of the Clones. It was before the prequel trilogies. And so nobody knew what Boba Fett actually looked like. And I have actually seen drawings of him in other books that came out before the prequels where he was a blonde. And he had short, spiky hair. And he didn't look anything like Jango Fett. But there was a big debate in the Star Wars world before Attack of the Clones what Boba Fett actually looked like. And that was one of the secrets that was revealed in Attack of the Clones for those of you who are not serious diehard fans. And so real quick, let's just check his movements out here. So you do have a little bit of head movement. He only moves on his arms at the shoulder joints only. And on his legs, he only has hip movement because, for those of you who are not aware, Boba Fett does have his own ship. It's called Slave One, so you have to get Boba Fett into Slave One, although when he's in it, he's actually in a standing position, the way the cockpit works. And then you do have waist movement on this character. And then let's get him all put back together here. And so you just make sure when you put in the cape and braids back on that you got to line it up, the braids over his shoulder, and then snap the piece around his neck. And then you just slide the jetpack on over top of that. And there you go. He is fully put back together, and then you will put his blaster pistol, or excuse me, sawed-off blaster rifle into his hands, and it does fit. If you look at the hands, you can put it in either hand. So, but one thing I wanted to do real quick here before we end this video is show you guys a comparison. And like I said earlier, there's been criticism in the past of the Power of the Force collection line due to their lack of detail and how some of the characters look almost cartoonish with their big physiques and stuff. So what I have here is another Boba Fett action figure. I want to do a quick comparison to show you how over time Kenner actually paid attention, or I'm sorry, you can see how long I've been collecting. Hasbro actually paid attention to the criticisms of the collecting fans and the collecting community, and they made improvements as time went on. And so what I have here is just to show you what the box looks like. This is a special edition Boba Fett 300 edition. I don't have the camera framed up properly to shoot the packaging real quick here. So this is what the package looks like. It's this very special edition 300th edition Boba Fett. And like I said, here in the picture on the box, this is Boba Fett from The Empire Strikes Back. And some of the differences you can see, if you look at his gauntlets on his arms, they're different colors. On the Return of the Jedi figure, they're red. And if you look, you can see they're green. The cape he wears is brown. And on Return of the Jedi, his cape was green. And then also, if you look at the pockets on his hips, they're green. And in Return of the Jedi, they were brown. And also, the jetpack is green in Empire Strikes Back. And it is red in Return of the Jedi. Or red, blue, yellow, gray. It's multicolored. So just to show you, this is the figure here. But to get an even closer look at it, I just wanted to show you the packaging. I actually have one out of the package. And so this is the 300th edition special figure. This figure came out in the year 2000. And you can see the difference in detail. This is one of the most screen accurate Boba Fett figures I have. And the weapon is very accurate to what he was wearing or carrying in Empire Strikes Back. And you can see the gloves are different colors. He has white gloves, white and gray gloves with green gauntlets. And here you go. You can see the difference in the jetpack. So, like I said, in Empire Strikes Back, which is this one here, it was almost totally green. And in Return of the Jedi, it was multicolored. Brown cape, green cape. You have different colored gauntlets. And these are just small, minor details that hardcore, serious fans like myself pay attention to. I know the general public kind of skips over this stuff, but... And then, like I said, also, if you look at the hip pockets on his outfit, they're green in Empire Strikes Back, and they were brown in Return of the Jedi. But the main thing I want you guys to pay attention to is not the difference between Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett and Return of the Jedi Boba Fett, is I want you to pay attention in the improvements in the detail of the figure. If you look at this Boba Fett figure, I mean, he looks like he stepped off the screen of the movie to me. He's very accurate, and another thing you could pay attention to is, like, look at the size of their arms. He's got these big bulging arms, is where here they're more lifelike, more true to life accurate. And the other thing is what I was talking about before. If you look at the thing on his helmet, see on this figure it swings down, and it's supposed to swing down in front of his eye to be a targeting system. But the point I'm trying to get across is just how there's so much more detail in this figure, and it just shows you that Hasbro listened to the fans, and they made the changes they needed to. And it's kind of hard to see because he's got his arms in front of his chest, but this figure has a much flatter chest compared to, if you look at this Boba Fett figure, he's got this big bulging chest. And let me see if I can move the cape here a little bit. You can kind of see how he looks more like a regular guy. So, more of the physique of Jeremy Bulloch. And then, of course, one of the other main differences is you have the cloth cape, so, which is very cool. But that's just the main point I wanted to get across, how over time they made significant improvements on the figures. So I just wanted to give you guys that small comparison so you could see how the figures evolved over time, because this is actually, since before the 80s, this is the first Boba Fett figure to be released when they started re-releasing the toys back in the 90s. So, all right, guys, that's it for today, and thanks for watching, everyone. And this is the Power of the Force Boba Fett with sawed-off blaster rifle and jetpack. And once again, thanks for watching, everyone. I appreciate it. Bye.